Welcome to Break Free to Brilliance podcast, where heart-centered entrepreneurs, visionaries, and the everyday heroes in your backyard are helping the world break free to live life more purposefully, one story at a time. I am Yeary, your host, an award-winning author, entrepreneur, and holistic lifestyle strategist. Today's show is sponsored by Uplift Media. For strategies on how to break free to your brilliance and get your free gift, 10 ways to live a dynamic life, visit seemageary.com. Today our special guest is Amanda Yeary Tiravanti. She's a pain freedom coach, speaker, and author. She's also the co-author in her book, Break Free to Stand in Your Power, releasing June 17th. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us today on my podcast.
Thank you, Seema. I'm so happy to be here.
Before we get started, I would just like to do a grounding exercise with you and our audience, Amanda, today. So let's sit in a comfortable position and close our eyes. Taking a deep breath all the way down to your belly. And just open ourselves up to being present, being here. I don't believe those that are here listening to us today are here by coincidence. We are here together for a reason, something that we want to share that's in our heart, and something that is meant to be heard by our listeners that have joined us today. There were things you had to do before you came to the podcast. Just let all of that go. And there'll be things that you need to tend to after this. Just assure them that you will get to it 100% in just a little bit. And just bring yourself to be totally here and now. Taking another deep breath. And see what is being called upon in your heart. What is it that we need to hear today? And with another breath, open your eyes gently and join us now. Amanda, when we were doing that little meditation, what did you notice that was called upon your heart?
That right now, with the way time has been for so many of us, a lot of what people are looking to is a new level of connection and also crossing things off their bucket list. And I think that that's pretty amazing in and of itself, because I think without that being the full intention of our book, this book is a great tool to open up into that, because it helps so many people prepare themselves on the journey that they're ready to take now, that they're realizing now that they're ready to take. So.
That's really well said. I do feel that I think people are now ready to jump in. Maybe they were hesitating a little before, but with everything that's going on, they're a lot more open to taking those steps now.
Whereas before, maybe they were more scared or more undefined on what they thought they wanted to do moving forward. And so I think this has been a time of realization for many.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I totally agree. Amanda, what inspired you to be part of this Break Free to Stand in Your Power book?
That's a very good question. When you first approached me with this, I wasn't even sure that I had a story to share that would be enough help. As we discussed, I felt that your subject matter, I already had to have arrived at my level of success or my level of having attained my goal. And while I've made progress towards it, significant progress, I didn't think I was there yet, right? As I told you, I haven't reached the mountaintop. I'm still in the foothills, as it were. And I thank you so much for reminding me of how far I have come, because I think that it is a very powerful tool for many, and I overlook it constantly. And so with that, and then in a few conversations had shortly after I met you and discussed this with you, was the fact that so many people actually saw me as an inspiration from the clients I had helped previously. And it's like, well, then this is a golden opportunity for me to get out there and help even more people with the journey that I've had thus far, because it will bring hope to those who may not already have it, and it gives people the tools to be able to take their next steps.
Definitely. I mean, Amanda, I think me included, and so many people I have spoken to, when we're in the midst of our journey, when we're in the midst of overcoming our challenges, it doesn't feel like we've done anything significant, because we're living in it all the time, and we're progressing, and we see some level of improvement in our lives, but we forget where we were and how far we've come. And we forget to measure that distance all the time. So I think
Yes,
this
I
is
agree.
going to be a really critical thing for our audience to hear is stop, pause, go back to where you started from and see how far you've come. And if you still can't understand by doing that, just listen to what people say about you and say to you. Those are going to give you clues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said, the conversation with you was a catalyst in that for me. And the reminder to be able to look backwards, because so oftentimes it's missed that in our journey forward, we do need to take that time of reflection and look back on how far we have come, because I do think it's something that we overlook. I know I have, so yeah. I'm pretty sure others have too.
Yes, and it's a natural thing, but this is a great reminder, and I'm glad that I was a catalyst to start getting you to think that way, because when we're doing what we're doing, you forget that you too can start, like, be a catalyst and start someone thinking in a different direction. So this was a good lesson for both of us, and from both angles. So thank you for sharing that. What is the name of your
thank you.
What is the name of your chapter, and what would you like your readers to experience when they read it?
Oh, that's a good question. The title of my chapter is Fearless, and the title was picked quite happenstance in the way things occur, right? That's how we're guided sometimes. I was told I was fearless because of my trip to the Story Cell Live event where I met you. The trip was cross country on a motorcycle, solo, and it was something that actually got a number of people's attention at the conference, because they truly saw it as a fearless act. And at that point, when it was first mentioned to me that it was fearless, I said my mother would use a different word. She'd say foolish, but, so be it. Thank you for that. But, in going back and looking at it, and in writing the chapter, it made me go back and look at it. It's, again, a lesson to how far I have come, because in finding that and seeing that through somebody else's eyes, there's a whole nother level of learning that I did just in that. So with this chapter, what I've tried to do is create that pathway for others, share my story of how far I've come along my road from being addicted to prescription pain medication and dealing with crippling chronic pain, and then moving from that to being somebody who can actually take that 8-hour bike ride to get to Michigan in cool weather and still be able to function the next morning, even though I didn't get in until 2:00 in the morning and, was turning around and getting up and ready at 6 a.m. I still had that ability to do that. And that was through that growth process. Mm-hmm. And so in my chapter, the idea is to share tools with people so that they can make a similar journey.
I am so glad you brought up that particular story, because I was going to bring it up and say, can you imagine what she did? Because I was one of the people like, wow, that is so huge. That is, there are things that I wanted to do and hesitated from doing it. And you just getting on that motorcycle and saying, I'm going to go and do it. That was amazing. You really inspired me through that. And I wonder how many of our listeners don't do the things that they really want, that brings them joy, and hold themselves back because of what they think other people might think, or just that little fear holding them back, and being afraid to do something alone, because doing something together is one thing, but doing something alone is even, something like this is even more, I guess it could be exhilarating, but also more fearful too.
Yeah, right. Because there are a lot of potential dangers in the world. And I think it's really a key part of my story that I have tried to step out by myself frequently. However, it's really funny because in general, I'm somebody who plays the wallflower in the background. I will help you achieve anything you want to achieve, but to get out in and stand in front, with whether it be with a group or not, it's much easier, in my opinion, to do it with a group, but still being able to step out and do those things. Now with the motorcycle ride, I had a number of things going just cataclysmically wrong, and I was supposed to be able to fly in and it didn't work out. So, at that point, it was also a story for me on determination. I got this opportunity. I'm going to be there one way or another. If this is what's available to me, well, then this is something I'm already prepared for. I can do this. But on the other hand, taking an 8-hour ride as a female solo on the road, there's a lot of potential pitfalls, and some you can mitigate fairly easily. Others, there's just always a chance. I was very lucky in the fact that it was an uneventful trip going forward, just very long because of construction and such. There was actually an instance that I was kind of scared on the way back because of an interaction that I had with a gentleman, but it all turned out well. So I'm very thankful that I was blessed and that I was able to have that journey and that story, but also that I was willing to actually step out enough of the comfort zone to go even when things didn't feel like they were coming together. Because I think that gave me, first off, it gave me the opportunity to meet you and have this opportunity, but it also gave me the opportunity to grow within myself. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's something that we forget on the journey, is that these little decisions we make can make such a huge difference in the process, and even in a very short amount of time, and we wouldn't have even been able to fathom how it could apply to these other areas, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it was definitely eventful.
You did what you have to do. You stepped up, you showed up, and you made it happen. And that's the little bit of peace that people miss, and they stop from making their dreams happen because of that little bit of hesitation. I wonder if I had taken those steps earlier on in my life, where I would be today. So now I'm making sure that I am taking those steps now, no matter how scary and how difficult it is, because that's the growth, that's the learning that you have. Now that you're in the front, how does it feel?
Scary. every second is scary. It's also very exciting, right? Because it's new. And it's an opportunity to be exactly what I thought I wanted to do, right? It's being able to be out there in front of people and helping people, because they're not going to be able to be helped if they can't see me. And so being able to get out there and see more people, the more people I get to talk with, build a relationship with, then I can be in support of them and help them more. You know, I had a priest years ago honestly think that I was going to become a nun, because he said, you cannot deny the fact, Amanda, that you were called to a life of service. And I said, you know what, Father Dan, you're right. I was called to a life of service. And I may not know what that is now, because I think I was 16 at the time. Oh. I said, but I'm pretty sure it's not to be a nun. It was still one of those things. It's like, you know, that's big for somebody, especially around the age of 16, because you know you want to do something. At that time in school, they're trying to get you to pick what you're going to be for the rest of your life and plan out college. And it's all well and good. But my big thing there was that I knew I wanted to be of service, but I had no way of knowing what level of service that was. And I've taken quite a workaround to get to it, to be able to help people at this level. And so it has been quite a journey, even from that point of looking back and being able to step out into the limelight to help people. Yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's exciting. But it's also just filling me with so much hope, because it's that many more people that are going to have an opportunity they may not have had before.
Well, I am so happy that you did not become a nun, because that would have definitely limited our chance of meeting. And that's true, you know, especially during this time. You know, my intention with this book was to educate, empower, and inspire people, to let them know that it doesn't matter what their age is, what their background is, what their cultural background is, and what time in their lifetime it is, that they can overcome. Unfortunately, this is when we are hit with the global pandemic of COVID-19. What value do you think our book will bring in a time like this?
You know, I recently was studying the book Opportunity by Eben Pagan, and he was amazed that he released this book in 2019, and he thinks it's the perfect book for now. And it's a great tool because it helps people find opportunities. It teaches a level of critical thinking that they can then follow to build opportunities when so many seem to have been lost now due to the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And I think that our book is a very apt time for it to come out, because our book has so many different tools that it brings to the reader, right? Because a number of people are focused on only one area or another, but when they grab a hold of this book, they're going to open their eyes to opportunities to heal within themselves and to step through to their next level, whatever that is, to bring themselves up to their highest level of service to those around them, their friends, their family. And I think that is just an amazing timing on our part, even if it wasn't planned, because I think that a tool like this is going to be completely invaluable. You really can't put a price tag on it. And I'm so happy to be a part of it. I mean, they're opportunities that people wouldn't have even necessarily realized on their own if the pandemic hadn't hit. And so now they're looking for answers they didn't even realize they needed before. And I think our book is ideal for that.
Right. And I'm just amazed at, I guess, our intuition. I think majority of the people, all the authors are highly intuitive. And I think we all had this intuition back a year ago when this idea came to me to start this project, that we were being called upon to pull it out because of something like this. I mean, we weren't that intuitive that we knew something like this was going to happen, but it's just, I mean, the timing of it just amazes me, and I get goosebumps because, you know, they say in the spiritual world, there are no coincidences, right? So it's just, I'm getting goosebumps now just
Me too.
about that. So I'm in so much awe that we are going to be able to service so many more people and help so many more people and hopefully help them heal, because that is what is so much required right now.
Exactly.
So Amanda, what is that one tip that you would like to give to our listeners that perhaps they can implement right away?
In this time where we are facing so much change, being able to take and articulate what we are feeling has such an impact on our healing. So many times we don't even realize the amount that emotion plays in our healing. And so I would encourage people to go and look at the Harvard Table of Emotional Vocabulary. I believe it was the Harvard Business School that put it out. And it gives you words. I had a coach once tell me, well, it all breaks down into 4 emotions, and that's kind of true. But we find quite often that mad is not mad and angry. I mean, they are correct per se, but they aren't the same level as understanding. It's a frustration. And when we start creating this vocabulary, understanding this vocabulary, one, it enables us to build better, stronger relationships with those around us, our family, our coworkers, our supervisors, you know. And then once we are able to have this conversation, we're also understanding ourselves better. And then through that, we can actually feel where these emotions are in our body and be able to focus on that radar system, as it were, to be able to heal through that.
Wow, that is a really great tip. Look at your emotions, look at the words that you're using. It really makes a huge difference. They do say, right, your words become your thoughts and your thoughts become your reality. So choose your words really, really carefully. Express your emotions, get that out, release it out of your body, and then choose your words that you're constantly thinking all the time. That is that is very helpful because I do that all the time too.
Yeah, it's one of those quite often overlooked opportunities for us to heal. And so I think it's probably the number one tip I could give people to work with now.
It's these simple tools that we forget that are so powerful. We're just so into creating more complex things that we forget is to keep things simple, and they really give you a big bang for your money, for lack of better word.
Exactly. Sometimes it really is the simplest answers that get us the farthest.
Yes. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you.
Thank you, Seema. I have enjoyed this opportunity to talk with you and your audience. This is just such an amazing time for all the possibilities that are coming for all of us. I hope everybody can see that there is that next step coming.
Yes. I want to reiterate that this too shall pass, and we still have infinite possibilities. Just need to look for them, and it will come. You will see. And that is why I'm so excited about, showcasing the authors and having them share this message through the podcast and the book, because when we talk, you can actually feel that, and that's what we're all doing from our hearts to everyone. So from our hearts to your heart, to the audience, this will pass. Things will get better. We just need to stand by together and start the healing process now. It was wonderful having you today, Amanda. And until next time, this is Seema.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this interview. I hope you've gained some insights and or tips that you can implement right away. For more interviews like this, please visit us at seemayeary.com or visit our YouTube channel, Break Free to Brilliance with Seema Yeary. Until next time, have a great day.